Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, we're back at it with brand new releases from Kluke whiskey. Yes, Kluke. Really excited for these new releases. But let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of housekeeping. So, two quick items I wanted to cover. First one is, first and foremost, literally probably like in the next week and a half, releasing our next barrel pick for the Bourbon Judge community, Patron community, where we did a barrel pick with JT Mellick. So really excited about JT Mellick, the barrel pick that we did with them, myself and like 10 patrons. We went down to Louisiana. JT Mellick is in like a very special lane. I mean, they're making whiskey out of one grain, just rice. It's phenomenal. It's truly fantastic. But again, myself and like 10 patrons, we went down to Louisiana. We picked a fantastic barrel. So really excited to get that out to my patron community. Again, that'll be released in the next week and a half at the latest. So that's JT Mellick. The second item is, speaking of patrons, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to all my newest patrons. So let's go ahead and welcome my good friend Michael S., Nick N., Rob A., Brandon K., KJM, Alex S., Stephen W., Jason L., Lisa G., Richard M., Ross M., and JW. Thank you all for becoming patrons, supporting the Bourbon Judge. Really do appreciate it. And as we say, welcome to the Judge family and community. I would say we truly honestly have a fantastic community between our meetups. Our Discord is on point. Shout out to my buddy Rob Sullivan, who runs our Discord. Rob just keeps it all in line. He keeps it perfect. But we truly do have a fantastic community. So welcome to the Judge family. All right. I'm really excited about brand new Kluke releases. So we have, I'm going to pour a little bit of these real quick. So we have Kluke. This is batch 9, the high rye, low rye blend coming in from Kluke. Let me pour a little bit more of that real quick. And then we also have batch 3 of the toasted barrel strength blended rye whiskey coming from Kluke. So I've reviewed Kluke, obviously on numerous occasions in the past. Huge fan of this brand. I'll give a quick overview, but I mean, gosh, these are some former releases that I've reviewed. This one, oh my goodness, this still might be the best blended finished whiskey. This is the Keenan Reserve that I think that's ever graced my lips. That Keenan Reserve is just special, and I mean, oh my god, special. But every other release I've had from Kluke has always been just flat out amazing, truly amazing. All right. So when you think about Kluke, what comes to mind? So the company was started by, husband and wife, which I think is really cool. Jonathan and Jennifer Maizano, they had a liquor store for many years, were very successful in running their business, their own business, of course. And they wanted to start, they had picked hundreds and hundreds of barrels. And Jonathan essentially became a whiskey sommelier. So after picking, hundreds of barrels for many years, they both together decided to start their own whiskey brand. So that they came up with the name Kluke, naming it after their children. And here we are today after numerous batches, which each one has been nothing but, home run after home run after home run. So here we are today with 2 new releases. So when you think about Kluke, for the most part, they're sourcing their whiskey from 2 different places. From Kentucky, various different distilleries in Kentucky, as well as Indiana, right? So Kentucky and Indiana, but then they're blending it together. And now what's cool about that is that when you think about blending whiskey, it sounds easy, but I will tell you, it is actually extremely difficult. And I mean extremely difficult. I've tried it myself. It's not an easy task. Let's just be that crystal clear, folks. It is definitely very challenging. And I spoke to others in the whiskey industry, and it is very, very difficult. But Jonathan, he's, again, a whiskey sommelier. And let's just say the man knows how to blend some good whiskey. He truly does. All right. I think we should go ahead and start with this lovely batch 9 of the high rye, low rye blend. So what do we know about this one, Judge? All right, let me get into this color real quick here. All right, so batch 9, when you think about this one, it yielded, I should say, about 1,600 bottles, right? Yielded about 1,600 bottles. You can find Kluke in about 6 different states, but honestly, the easiest thing is, rather than going to your local stores, which is because they're only available in 6 states, the easiest thing is just to go online directly, sharedpour.com and Sillbox. So go to Sharedpour or Sillbox and grab a bottle of Kluke, either batch 9 and or batch 3 of the toasted barrel strength rye. That's the easiest way of finding their whiskey, honestly. But going back to batch 9, so this one again produced about 1,600 bottles. This one, it does not have an age statement, so there's no exact age statement. We don't know the exact age of the final blend. We do know a couple items. So the proof on this one, I think it's on the back here, yep. So the proof is 118.4 proof. It is a blend of high and low rye. And when it says the high rye, so the high rye whiskey that's in this blend is said to have up to about 36% of rye in the mash bill. So there's up to 36% of rye in the mash bill. So I expect this to be quite spicy as a, again, a blended whiskey, but I do expect it to be quite spicy because there is a good blend of rye in the mash bill and in the final product as well. All right, let's get into the nose real quick. Woo! She smells delicious. Oh my goodness, Jonathan. Woo, boy. Wow. Goodness gracious. What am I getting? All right, I know this. There's one thing in here which is really quite unique. Oh gosh, I could smell this all day long. I could nose this all day long. Oh man. To me, the nose, it's almost like taking walnuts, smashing them, and just pouring honey and caramel all over the walnuts, like the smashed walnuts. That's truly what I'm getting. Yeah. A ton of like walnuts, a ton of honey, a ton of caramel. Okay, there's some pepper there as well. Definitely a little bit spicy. Obviously coming from that rye. But that's really it. Walnuts, honey, caramel, smidge of oak, and pepper. Oh man, I love this nose. There's something about like a really unique and good nose that has like a ton of like depth to it. This nose is quite amazing. All right, $110 MSRP, available in 6 states. But again, the easiest way to get it is go to either share, pour, or sale box, either or. Here we go, folks. Cheers. What's the proof on this again? Woo! 118.4. Hold on. Hold on. I'm giving 2 separate judgments, by the way, today. 2 separate judgments. Let me get a little bit more. Woo! Oh man, there's nothing better when the nose matches the palate. Absolutely perfect. What I like about this, before I even get into the palate, what I love is there is a nice long and even finish on the palate. It's here the entire time, and it goes down like a really good kind of traditional kind of Kentucky hug, if you will. It's a nice long finish, but it doesn't beat you up. That's 118 proof. That sips probably even closer to like maybe even like 112, 110, 111. It sips a little bit like lower than the actual proof point. That's dangerously good, and I mean dangerous. The second thing I love about the palate, everything in the nose matches the palate. So like that walnut, like this, almost like a smashed walnut kind of a nose, if you will, that was there with a whole bunch of honey and caramel just covering the walnuts. That's there in the nose. It's there in the mid palate, as well as the beginning of the palate and the end as well. I gotta finish this. Give me one more. Give me a second here. Let me just experience this. I'm sorry, I need a second to experience this a little bit longer. Oh my gosh, that nose. See, I don't think I could make whiskey like this. I don't know if I could. Oh man, this is nice. Damn, that's good. Wow. Woo! 2 separate judgments. You guys know me. I'm always going to keep it real. At $110, Judge, do I need to go ahead and grab batch 9? Absolutely. I would grab that in a second, folks. I mean, in a second. I know actually even with the last barrel pick that I did for my channel, just like in the last week or two, a lot of my patrons actually bought batch 9 in addition to my barrel picks. When we did the barrel pick with Share Pour, they bought my barrel pick and they also bought batch 9. Save on shipping. Folks, I'm telling you, that is amazing. That is truly special. In my opinion, that is even better than batch 8 of the last version of this. That's pretty damn good. Jeez. All right. Now we go over to the rye. Woo! Let me pour a smidge more of the rye. Just a little bit. Gotta get a good taste here. All right. Gotta get a good taste of this rye. All right. So what do we know about the rye? So very similar, produce about 1,600 bottles, a little bit less than 1,600, but close to 1,600 bottles, available in the same places, 6 different states, as well as online at Share Pour and Sillbox. We don't know the exact age. Wow, that nose, goodness gracious. Oh man, damn. Okay, wow, I was lost for words there for a second. We don't know the age. But because this was a toasted barrel strength rye whiskey that was blended, we do know how long the whiskey was in the secondary barrel. So in the secondary toasted barrel, it was in there for 3 months. So 3 months in the secondary toasted barrel. That we do know. Again, produced about 1,600 bottles. This one comes in just slightly lower, 114.6 proof. So batch 3 of the toasted blended barrel strength rye whiskey comes in at 114.6 proof. Same MSRP as the other bottle, about $110 online as well as in stores. Oh man, the nose. Oh man, this is nice. This is like a traditional rye where you get like a little bit of pepper and mint, but I also get a ton, in addition to the pepper and mint, a ton of like apples, caramel, and in the background there's like a smidge of like a cinnamon kind of a note, which I don't always get from a rye whiskey. And maybe that cinnamon has something to do with like the toasted barrel. Maybe just kind of added like a little certain je ne sais quoi, if you will. But that's nice. That's really, really nice. Yeah, this is all apples, mint, pepper, caramel, and a little bit of like a cinnamon note in the background. But the cinnamon note is not like, it's not overpowering. It's just kind of lingering around in the nose. Wow. All right. Here we go, folks. Hey, real quick. 3 quick easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know what are your thoughts on the brand new Kluke releases if you tried them. And last but not least, please make sure you all subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? Cheers. Ooh. Okay. Wow. The finish was different. That nose matched the palate 100%. The finish on this, to me, is all apples and cinnamon. A little bit of like the caramel as well, but primarily apples and cinnamon kind of combined together. The finish on this is delicious. At 114.6 proof, nice long finish. Same thing, doesn't really beat you up too much of a Kentucky hug. It almost sips a little bit lower, like it's 107 proof, maybe even 106. Let me get a little bit more. Goodness. Oh, yeah. That's all apples, all cinnamon. What I love about this is, I know there are a lot of people out there that are still kind of dipping their feet into their whole rye category a little bit, right? They're dipping their feet into the rye category just a smidge. If you want to try a rye that I believe is absolutely an amazing experience, it's sweet but spicy at the same time. It gives you some of those traditional elements of the rye, but it also gives you traditional elements similar a little bit to like a bourbon, if you will. Batch 3 of the toasted barrel strength blended rye whiskey from Kluke. Stop it. That is a buy. That is a buy. They are equally good, but in completely different directions. Completely different directions. I love this, by the way. Wow, I might almost like it even more than the bourbon. That's what's scary about how good this one is. And I thought that was amazing. Wow. Kluke is putting out some fantastic whiskey. Hey friends, until the next time, peace, cheers, most important, salute. Take care. See you guys.